Hope everybody having a blessed day. But let's get into why they really mad. Why they really mad? They really upset. College football playoffs. You got Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech with the bye. You got Oregon playing James Madison with the 5-12 matchup. Winner plays Texas Tech. Oregon with the home game. Ole Miss plays Tulane. Ole Miss in Oxford. Winner plays Georgia. Texas A&M hosts the Miami Hurricanes. Winner plays Ohio State. Oklahoma hosts the Capstone, the greatest college football program in the history of football, with the greatest coaches in the history of football, 18 national championships, the Alabama Crimson Tide in a rematch with Oklahoma. Winner plays IU and Kirk Cignetti. Obviously, I made the post. There's a lot of crying on there. And in the light of this college football playoffs, Notre Dame has opted out. Notre Dame ain't playing. Who cares? Suck on a lemon, Notre Dame. Suck on a lemon, Notre Dame. You know why? See, it's a lot of people that say Alabama get favoritism. We didn't get favoritism last year. Last year, we didn't make it in the playoffs. Did we cry? Did we say we not playing in our bowl game? No, we went and played our bowl game. And we reloaded, and this year we're in. Who did this before? Florida State did it before the 12 team when it was 4. They got left out. They held all their players out. They opted out. They got the wheels beat off by Georgia, and they ain't been back. And they ain't going to be back no time soon. So this is how you handle these situations, Notre Dame fans. You join a conference, or you don't get left out because the team you expect to be in over beat you already in this regular season. People complaining about Bama, saying it's favoritism. But anybody with a brain that's unbiased, like Buddha, would tell you Bama getting in is all about conference championships. If you want teams to continue scheduling out of conference and playing conference championships, you don't penalize teams when they lose in conference championships. And you're going to give me a bunch of lame excuses about teams that should be in. People say, well, Vandy should be in. Well, Bama played Vandy and they beat Vandy. Well, Notre Dame should be in over Miami. Well, Miami beat Notre Dame. Who else is you going to put in? Realistically, when you look at James Madison and Tulane, those are your culprits that you probably miss having Notre Dame and Vanderbilt or Texas or whoever else you thought should be there. But the reality is, when they did 2 teams, the 3rd team felt left out. When they did 4 teams, the 5th team fell left out. If they did 8, it'd be the 9th team. Now we put 12 teams in, and number 13 is mad. Nobody cares. But I like to hear y'all thoughts. What y'all thought about the CFP, college football playoff, how it came out. Say your Ducks is back. DeShamrick, what up? How do I feel about that win? We're going to get into the Titans second. We're going to start with the college football playoffs, and then we'll get in. He said Notre Dame is in the ACC and all their sports besides football. And then guess what? If they would have joined the ACC championship was won by Duke, a 7-5 team. But to be fair, let's say Notre Dame was in the ACC. The best team from the ACC is Miami. and Miami beat them. So I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? Like, for all the teams that complain that they should be in, all you had to do is do what Bama did. That's all you got to do. Because you can't say strength of schedule. You can't say who have you beaten. You can't exclude head to head, which that's the biggest confusion to me of the people that complain is they want to exclude head to head. Like, how do we play sports? Let me head to head doesn't matter. Can anybody explain to me how that works? Because at the end of the day, if you want to exclude the fact that Bama played Wisconsin out of conference, then turned around and beat Georgia, then turned around and beat Vanderbilt, then turned around and beat Missouri, then turned around and beat Tennessee, then turned around and beat South Carolina, then turned around and beat LSU, then lose to Oklahoma by 2, get in the SEC championship, and lose in the state of the team you lost to that you already previously beat away at their stadium. So it's like, at that point, I'd ask this question to y'all or anybody who disagrees, because nobody who disagrees with me would get in the booth and have this debate with me. They won't do this. But I do appreciate the comments and the back and forth, the banter. But any team that didn't make it in the playoffs, could they have ran that gauntlet? The question ain't, should Bama be in? Your question is, it can't be, should Notre Dame be in over Miami because they played head to head this year? You should say, do you think that Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, and Texas should be in over Tulane and James Madison? That's the question you have to answer yourself. Bama can't be in your equation. Bama can't be in your equation. It said it needs to do a 16-team playoffs and 1 and 2 teams get buys. I mean, it's technically that now. I mean, you got 12 teams in the top 4 get buys. Let me teach you how to buy. And the next 4 get home field advantage in the next round. I mean, if this is the case, if we crying for Notre Dame, a team that's not in the conference, a team that lost to the team that got the last spot that they wanted, because it's not like Miami was 9 and Bama was 10. Bama was 9 and Miami was 10, which meant that Notre Dame was right behind them, which meant that they went to head to head. So, I mean, I don't see wanting to add 4 more teams. Let me teach you how to vibe. And then if we going past this 12, which I already think is too much, then the regular season don't matter. Because if you add Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, Texas, and pick the other team that you put in, all of these teams have, like, Bama and Oklahoma is a rematch. Ole Miss and Tulane is a rematch. You know, it's gonna be some rematches that pop back up. You know, so I mean, you already, because of conference championships, you got conferences questioning should they have a conference championship, or questioning should they cut back out of conference games or less conference games. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, do you want to remove conference games, conference championship, or do you want to remove out of conference games? Like, it's a lot of stuff that you remove if you start punishing these teams. But most of it comes from, we don't like the team that got in. But they'll say that it's biased for Bama, but it worked against Bama last year. It was Bama fatigue. So this year, Bama gets in on strength of schedule and losing to a team that they already beat in the conference championship. Because then you say, okay, well, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M will be getting in without having to play that game. What would happen if Texas A&M, Ole Miss, or Oklahoma played Georgia and lost? Are you gonna, you know what I'm saying? Just flip the coin around. Then you'd say you can't put a team in that position then people would be like how Notre Dame is being weird now and just like opt out. Teams start opting out of the championship game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? He said it's nice for Tulane, James Madison schools like that to be in. We really think they'll be competitive enough. Tulane and Ole Miss played, and it was 45-10. Yeah, it's like realistically, it would have been better if Tulane and James Madison played a January 1st bowl game, but instead of having them in, we had Notre Dame and Vandy or Notre Dame and Texas. Just to be honest, like if we put in the 12 best teams, but right now they got 12 best with a outlier. The point is they should just remove the outlier, and it's good for certain teams to get certain things, but give me the top 12 teams in the final poll. And if Tulane and James Madison ain't in that final 12, then because I mean Tulane at 11-2 is not going to be ranked higher than Texas and Vanderbilt. And it's crazy, you know, people would try to go to like bring basketball in. NBA is 82 game season and it's equal conferences. They try to bring the NFL into it. NFL has 32 teams. These are professional athletes in an 18-week, 17-game season. With every team in the AFC South plays the NFC West and the AFC West. Like it's set. All the teams in the same divisions are equal. The difference in college football, every division is not equal. The SEC is not equal to the ACC. The ACC is not equal to the Big Ten. The Big Ten is not equal to the Big 12. Like, all these conferences and divisions are different, and they all play different schedules. Some people's schedules is weaker than others. So if you're going by strength of schedule, then like nobody should have an argument that Bama is. If you took the decals off, what people try to make, if you took the decals off and just put their resume up, you're not gonna argue with the resume of Bama. Yeah, it's good exposure, but we know what's gonna happen. Corey, we got any more questions about the CFP? He said, see y'all in the Natty round 3. Go Dogs. Man, I knew that was gonna be a tough game for us, playing y'all in the state of Georgia twice, playing Kirby Smart twice. All the injuries we had, and when the game started and we couldn't run the ball, I knew it was gonna be tough. You know, it's like you just don't want to get into that position where you can't run the football. And Georgia was sitting with 2 safeties high, and we couldn't run it. And you know, people like, well, that's why Bama like, yeah, but you know, hopefully they'll have Jam Miller and Quavos and LT Overton. Hopefully, like all those guys will be back, because Bama needs a more balanced approach. Because Georgia was just playing coverage and running stunts the whole game. Said Ohio State all day. Man, you got to be impressed by Indiana going 13-0 and beating Ohio State when nobody really picked them and winning the Big Ten. You got you got to be impressed with Kirk Cignetti. Yeah, and Corey, that's why I said like Georgia beat us up front. And when I knew that we couldn't move the ball on the ground, like it's tough to play Kirby in a phone booth like that. Because when it breaks down to it, Kirby is a better coach than Kalen DeBoer. So it's like if we one dimensional, it just played into y'all hands.
Let me teach you how to
buy. Any more questions about the CFP? Topic number 1 before we get into topic number 2. It feels good to be a Bulldog fan. I pissed him in band vibes that game. It was funny. I mean, but this is the thing about me, and this why I feel like I have an advantage over most content creators. I'm unbiased. How many people y'all know there's Bama fans that didn't show up when Georgia beat Bama? I literally was here and like, hey, bro, like Georgia beat us. I ain't make no excuses. You know, it's so many people that try to make content that are not critical or don't show up when they team take their ass. I didn't make no excuses. I just said, man, Georgia just beat us up front. -3 rushing yards. you can't make no excuses for that. Georgia just physically, they wanted it more. I think people underestimated the fact that Carson Beck got injured and Gunnar Stockton came in and they won the SEC championship. And then in the playoffs, Georgia with Gunnar Stockton could not really pass the ball and move the ball in the playoffs. And I think that was like their bulletin material when they got their opportunity back to say, because Gunnar Stockton on the sideline never celebrated. He looked locked in the whole time. Like they was dialed in to try to, it's almost like a unfinished business type of situation for Georgia, being in that, wanting it so bad because they was there last year and the injury to the quarterback for Gunnar Stockton is like, it's his chance to prove, to redeem himself for not being developed as far as he is now to run the team in the playoffs. I think that's one of the biggest things that people overlook. He said, you want to Notre Dame again? He said, that's why we rock with you. Bill, what up? He said, Ohio State's a good football team, she. You got to chill. Zay. I mean, but then too, I had to really make that statement. I thought that was corny. Notre Dame declining the bowl bid, being some suckers. Last year when Bama got left out, we still went and played our bowl. And Florida State got left out that year. None of their players played, and Georgia put 100 on them. It's like, have some pride. You didn't get in. You'll get a good bowl game. Go beat the other team and build momentum for the next year and show why you should have been in. But to opt out next year, if they're in the same position, if I'm the committee and I seen them opt out of a bowl, being sore losers, I'd do the same thing. I'll leave them out again until they join the conference. Next year, get in the ACC and win the ACC championship, play the extra game and get in. Michael B say what's going on. Alabama got a chance to prove everybody wrong. Got to get healthy. I mean, they definitely got to be more physical up front. Like Oklahoma is a similar build to Georgia. Is the quarterback is not going to beat you throwing it 50 times. They're not going to try to bomb you, but they can stop the run up front and they can get after your quarterback with 4. And that's how they beat us last time, by pressuring Ty and making us one dimensional. Alabama, to be Alabama, has to be able to run the football. Even if it's QB design runs, even if it's getting Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard involved in the run game, but they got to be able to move the ball on the ground to where teams just can't blitz and cover Ty. But that's, Notre Dame fans won't be honest with themselves and come to grips with that in the same state Indiana is taking over the state of Indiana and they left out. And outside looking in, y'all want to talk about bias with Alabama and disregard our strength of schedule and the gauntlet we went on. Talk about bias would have been Notre Dame getting in, even though they're not in the conference, didn't win a conference, and the team that they think they should be in over beat them head to head. So they want you to ignore head to head. They want you to ignore they're not in the conference and don't have to play that extra conference championship game, but just think they're automatically supposed to get in. That's not how it works.